I wonder how the world's gonna feel when they realize that we're living in a black hole. Like the planet we originally were birthed on, Tetemate, was like Star Wars and got destroyed and sucked into a black hole. That black hole has now evolved and created itself, and that's why everything can run on numbers and biosystems too. Ones and zeros, male and female, duality. That's what this reality represents. You have to ascend spiritually, recollect all yourselves, know God, know the kingdom, and then ascend through death. And the amount of love you're able to give this lifetime propels you up into the kingdom. That's why everything is about fear and anger and killing and violence, because the more lower consciousness, negative consciousness, heavy, bad, whatever you want to call it, duality. This is when we're understanding energies. It's a choice. If you participate in those energies, you're creating that reality for yourself and trapping yourself into reincarnation. And then reincarnation creates disease. Welcome to the matrix of reality. You are an infinity God light being within God's eye. If you don't know God, that's when you have to awaken to love, heal through the universe, and then you get to meet God, your Father. And He welcomes you home with your mother, who's restoring you and creating life through you. The human experience, it is so fucking magical.
So there are two studios, let's say the Disney studios. One studio, Studio A, creates a film that has magic mirror on the wall. Another studio says mirror, mirror on the wall. Is it two separate studios, or what happened?
No, same studio, different timeline. So, good thing we have a multi-layered napkin.
This is very high tech
Yeah.
in terms of our graphics.
Definitely sophisticated.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so as I said,
Because I love that one, because everyone remembers Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I mean, there's
Everybody
no
does.
one, and there's a whole Sally Field, you like me, you really, really like me, blah, 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 and now
build it,
it's you
they
like
will
me.
come, build it, he will come. The peace sign.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that one.
Oh yeah, there's so much. I have a record of all the ones that I've been able to
Of course,
match. And,
of course you do.
And some other stuff that I should tell you personally about later.
Okay, can't
Anyway,
wait.
so yeah, infinity down the line from our original timeline, where here's ours, and of course this timeline is only moving forward because, well, the expansion of infinite number of realities behind it. But what happened was we made this universe sort of out of balance, and our universe,
Because of the collider, the super collider?
yeah, we altered the weight of a single electron, which I believe shifted us into a parallel universe, considering that we caused a chain reaction that could have catastrophically destroyed our universe. I mean, even when we thought about starting it, we thought our universe would implode, and then it didn't, and we're like, oh, it's okay. Well, maybe it did implode. We just instantly got shifted to another universe.
And that's your belief?
Right, in my belief. Of course, this is just a theory and it's still being developed.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe in that infinitely small moment of time, we were instantly shifted.
Could it also be that there were some people at CERN who are kind of like quantum hackers, and they go, ooh, we have this little vulnerability in time-space continuum, and we're going to go in and we're going to pick these iconic moments in our civilization, you know, mirror, mirror on the wall, things like that, and we're going to change them just to screw up people's heads to realize that reality is not as they think it.
That could be completely possible, although there's some stories, fairy tales, campfire, scary tales that occurred at CERN, supposedly, or that are set at CERN, dimensional beings or satanic portals, a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. And a lot of people believe they have to do that to consistently maintain our universe, or bridging two universes or dimensions even together. Now, then again, they're fairy tales.
Okay.
And since when are fairy tales real? But then again, all fairy tales are based off of something. Anyway.
Back to eternity.
Right.
God.
So, when this universe was destroyed, then again, here's our progression of infinite expansion of parallel universes. And here's ours. When this one just destroyed itself, and as I said, there's an infinite number of parallel universes. That means there's an infinite possibility that everything contained within our infinite range happened, existed, will happen. For example, there's a reality where possibly maybe this world didn't even occur. Maybe there's a reality where our universe instantly started and then destroyed itself. There's an infinite number of possibilities. But
Which
however,
is such an incredible thing to try to wrap your head around, right? It's almost impossible.
yeah, there's
See, just the word infinity is almost impossible to really
and
completely
then
understand.
again, there are higher levels of infinity, as you'll see in videos.
Higher levels of infinity. So
Yeah,
infinity is not just infinity. There's variations
there's
on
higher
that theme.
levels of infinity. There's smaller infinities, larger infinities. It's hard to wrap your mind around that there is something larger than everything.
Which is, how do you...
It's
right.
even a paradox as itself. It's an oxymoronic phrase.
And that's where you come back to God. Well, God could be God of the universe or the multiverse, but then...
There must be another multiverse of multiverses of multiverse, where there's a universe where there is another more powerful or less powerful or equal God, as we defined it in E = MC squared, the new definition of God.
So other than you and maybe a few other people, we're really not going to figure this out, are we?
Not for a while, no, I don't think so.
This is one of the most powerful identity shifting practices I have ever learned. It will literally reprogram your subconscious mind after just one time. And I'm going to take you through exactly how to do it. This is one of the exercises that completely changed my life. I'm not even kidding, and I honestly can't even believe I'm sharing it. Download, save, bookmark, whatever you need to do. But I have to warn you, this may be a wake-up call for a lot of you. So be patient with yourself and honest about your experience. Also, hi, I'm Abby. I help you unlock your next level identity and shift your reality. You can check out my programs or apply to work one-on-one with me, but only if you're ready for massive, massive changes. I also have freebies. Okay, the key to this exercise is really connecting to our subconscious mind. Meaning, we have to get ourselves into a theta brainwave state to access our subconscious mind. I recommend doing something like this first thing in the morning when you wake up, or at night right before you go to sleep. That's because during those 2 times of the day, it is easier for you to shift into a theta brainwave state. I like to do some breath work or a quick meditation, and then listen to theta-inducing frequency music. Something like 4 hertz or binaural beats, tons of free ones on YouTube. Okay, here's the exercise. I want you to close your eyes and imagine you are waking up 3 months from now. This is 3 months from now if you continue to allow the limiting beliefs to control you. Maybe there are specific ones that you know hold you back. This is also 3 months from now, allowing yourself to continue the toxic behavioral patterns, the toxic habits. And I want you to run through your entire day really connecting to the emotion of the experience. I'm sorry, but you're meant to feel the pain with this one. And then I want you to imagine you are waking up 5 years from now. 5 years of allowing these beliefs and toxic habits to control you. And I want you to observe your life. What have you created for yourself? What did you not go after? What did you give up on? Where are you at financially? What about physically, emotionally, socially? Did these limiting beliefs or toxic habits cause you to lose relationships? Really connect to all the emotions and take your time. When you're ready, I want you to move on and pretend you are waking up 10 years from now. An entire decade of allowing these beliefs to hold you back. And I want you to imagine you see yourself in the mirror. What do you look like? Can you see the weight of these beliefs on your face and the toxic habits and everything that you've missed out on? How do you feel emotionally? How do your friends see you? And do you even have relationships still? And after you're done with this part of the exercise, I want you to open your eyes and shake it off. And then it's time for part 2.
So I'm going to tell you a little something about parallel realities, and this will help you hopefully to understand how manifestation works. Okay? Every version of you already exists. Every single version of you. Let's pretend this. There's a version of you that was a FedEx driver. There's a version of you that's a billionaire. There's a version of you that is a teacher. There's a version of you that's homeless. All versions of you, all timelines, all parallel realities already exist. Which one you're on is directly linked to your thinking and your perspective. So if I view myself as unworthy, maybe I'll move to that timeline that if I keep going, I will end up as a homeless person. Maybe my mindset is I'm abundant, I'm worthy of everything. I know I can create it. Maybe you're on the timeline of being a billionaire. You jump timeline to timeline. You can't even grasp how many times you do it in a day. Every time that you have a thought, you jump to another timeline. The key to creating your life consciously is you figure out where you want to go, and then you write down all of the energies, the emotions, the thought forms, the perspective that timeline has, and then you have to hold the thoughts and the emotions of that timeline, and then you will stay on that timeline. But here's the next thing. Imagine that timeline and all of them already exist, but the only one that you're on is the one that's lit up. And the one that's lit up is the one that's getting the most thought energy. So a thought comes in, and then we think about the thought. Most of us are thinking about what we don't want. So that's the timeline that we're lighting up. That's the one that we're on. But the complete opposite energy of you having everything exists as well, but you have to send enough thinking energy through thinking, through emotions to that, and then you will start to manifest that reality. So really at the end of the day, it's about asking yourself, where am I sending my thinking? Where am I steering it? Am I thinking in line with that timeline, or am I thinking more in line with that timeline? And then the timeline that gets the most thought energy, that will be the one that manifests in your reality.
I hate to break it to you, friend, but if you're watching this, you have already shifted realities. In fact, you are doing it all the time. But if you do not believe me, here's 5 extra signs that you have already shifted realities. First one, arguably one of the most important and probably also very, very surprising. Your memory sucks. You are not going crazy. You are not losing your mind. You do not have dementia. You are not getting older. Your memory suddenly sucks because you, my friend, are shifting realities all the time. You're shifting timelines. And guess what happens when you shift to like a timeline that's so completely different from the one you're currently on? The memories associated with the old timeline, they dissolve because they're just that far removed from where you currently are. So if you can't like remember what you ate for breakfast yesterday, it's because you've probably shifted realities like so many times since then, or just to such a drastically different reality. You can't remember because it's just not there. That memory isn't even there anymore. You are that different of a person. You are like a different version of yourself, one that does not have those memories anymore. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions on that in the comments. Sign number 2 is that you have like a wonky sort of experience with time. So sometimes time's moving really, really fast and you completely lose track of it. Other times it seems really slow. You may lose track of like what day it is, or you might think it's daytime. You look out, it's like nighttime, stuff like that. Weird experiences of time, because In this reality we live in, there is a time matrix. When you are detaching from this reality, you are also detaching from this time matrix, and you are shifting into different time matrices. So your experience of time will expand or contract accordingly. Sign number 3 is that your current reality starts to resemble your desired reality. Okay, you begin to merge the two realities rather than having to go to a different reality to experience that which you would like to experience. You just bring it into this one, and you bring this one into that one. They merge. Okay, so if you're starting to notice like weird synchronicities where there's like people in your life that are similar to characters in your desired reality, for example, this is because you were already shifting realities and you were bringing a little bit back from your desired reality each time into this current reality. Sign number 4, also a very, very important one. You have less attachment to shifting realities in general. This is because if you've maybe seen some of my other content, when you're trying to engage in reality shifting as a form of escapism because you hate this reality and you're trying to get away from it, it can never actually work, because we have this magic system, as I like to call it, in this reality, the law of attraction. Like attracts like. If you are coming from an energy of like, I need this to happen, I need to escape this reality, you're just gonna keep perpetuating that energy of needing to escape reality. But if you're in this energy of like, I love where I'm at, I love my reality, you're gonna perpetuate that. And therefore, you're gonna open the door to your desired reality. The 5th sign is that you feel lighter, happier, and just all around higher vibe in general. Because everything is energy, my friend. Energy vibrates at a specific frequency. When you're vibrating at a lower frequency, you have tangible physical form, okay? When you're vibrating at a higher frequency, you lose that physical form, and therefore you can easily move between realities. This is what happens, for example, with a hummingbird's wings. You can't see their wings anymore because they're flapping so fast, right? It's like it loses its tangible form. That's what happens to you when you're vibrating at a higher frequency. And when you vibrate at a higher frequency, you feel happier. So let me know in the comments, is this resonating? Do you accept that you are already shifting realities? How many of these signs do you relate to? And if this is resonating, but you feel like no one in your life understands you, you're still seeking support, I would invite you to join my private community, the House of the Spirit Dragon. We are going to be doing a month specifically on reality shifting, I believe in a month or 2. So there is a place where you can find the motivation to shift and you can get the support that you need. Either way, my friend, I'm sending you much love on your shifting journey. Know that you are powerful. You are already shifting.
Bitch, sit down, little man.
What if you could mentally shift out of whatever current situation you're in into a completely new reality like that if you simply do what I share with you in this video. Now, back in 2012, this is when I learned about this technique. Then I applied it in 2017, completely shifted my reality. And now in 2023, I'm using this same technique in my own life. And this little mental shift shifts everything. So first off, back in 2012, I was feeling stuck. I was a mediocre sales employee working a commission job selling women's shoes. Some of you know the story if you've been watching my videos. But there was this realization that I had with the familiar energy that I was in, where I could very clearly see that I was in familiar childhood dynamics that I was priorly unconscious of. Like literally I had a belief that life is unfair when I was a kid because I had like no freedom growing up, and I had somebody that was controlling like every aspect of my life, and I kind of had to tiptoe around them. And then here I am at this 9-to-5 job in the same safe and familiar territory, tiptoeing around a manager that was just like somewhat my ex-stepmom, and life wasn't fair because literally she was protected by upper management. I was a mediocre sales employee, right at the, I would say like not the top sales employee, not the bottom sales employee, right in the middle. And what happened is there was this feeling of being stuck, a feeling of being kind of in Groundhog's Day. I was thinking same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, doing the same things day in, day out. I intellectually knew a lot of the things I'm about to share with you, but I didn't do this one thing. I had like done and watched a lot of YouTube videos or read a lot of books, but I felt frustrated with myself because like, why do I feel like I can't make headway? Why do I feel stuck? And then I probably just one thing that completely shifted everything. And then I've been able to now look back and see that in 2012, 2017, 2023, this year, this is the thing that is shifting everything for me. And I believe that if you use it in your life, you will completely shift to a new reality, to a new version of yourself. Now, first off, understand that in your reality, why this is not about just mentally shifting. I know it's mentally shift to a new reality, but it's more so energetically shift to a new reality. Now, let me share with you that one insight back in 2012 that changed everything. And it had to do with understanding my beliefs about my identity, my beliefs about who I was being. Now, I had priorly read a book that's not a more metaphysical book necessarily, but it's called Psycho-Cybernetics. This book is all about what is called the inner self-image. How we have an inner self-image that we project onto other people, onto the world, and how we will do anything we can to remain consistent to whatever that inner self-image is. So what happens is unless we become aware of it, we stay trapped in that version of ourselves. This is why, by the way, when people like do New Year's resolutions, they're like, I'm gonna change and become a new me. New year, new me, who dis? Or whatever they say, like new year, new me, whatever. And then they go and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym every day. I'm doing it. They go to the gym once, they go to the gym twice, and then they don't go anymore. Then it's like they go once, then they go maybe the second day, and then they wait like 4 days and they go again, they wait like a week and they go again. And it's like, why is it so hard to shift into that one little habit? Well, the reason being is they see themselves, their inner self-image is that they aren't a gym goer. They're doing this action, not because doing this action is who they are, doing this action because it will get them something they want. I will lose 10 pounds. I'll feel more in shape. You must not just do it to get a certain result. You must take on and believe this is who you are now. That's when this identity shifting is so powerful. So let me share with you how I use this. 2012, working that 9-to-5 job, I read that book, Psycho-Cybernetics, with everything I just shared with you, and I realized this is honestly going to be something you can apply towards any area of your life. You can apply this towards, when I became a full-time YouTuber, you can apply this towards anything. It's the way you reverse engineer your future self to be it now. And if I could summarize all my teachings over the last 5 years, this would be it right here. So I was in 2012. Now, I'd go into work every day and I was recognizing what my inner self-image is because I just read the book. And I realized my inner self-image, you gotta be really honest with yourself on this. First off, the obvious. I'm working a 9-to-5 job, so obviously my self-image was I must work a 9-to-5 job or I'm a 9-to-5 job goer. But then what I realized is my self-image was I am a mediocre average sales employee. And the thing was with this sales job selling women's shoes, you only got paid a commission on whatever you sold. And I noticed that the people were at the top of the list. It's not like when you go in every day, you have a list from the people from the day before of who sold the most to who sold the least. You could even see people that didn't sell much at all. And it was a constant reflection because if you wanted to know where you were in comparison to other people, because if your numbers got too low, you'd literally get fired. So you kind of had to know where you were at, but you were constantly comparing yourself to your coworkers. I noticed that the people at the top of the list were consistently at the top of the list. The people that were at the bottom of the list were pretty much consistently at the bottom of the list. I was always right in the middle. I'm like, oh, I have an average self-image of myself of being an average sales employee. So I thought to myself, what is my inner self-image? Well, I realized I'm an average employee. I'm not the top sales employee, but I'm also not the bottom. I never really had to worry too much about my job, but at the same time, I was always kind of right in the middle. But then I realized this: how was I thinking, feeling, and acting equal to that average sales employee? And I realized that what I was doing was kind of an autopilot. I was, some of this is gonna sound corny, by the way, but basically I'd realized that I would kind of greet certain customers I thought that would buy, and I would kind of like, because if you get caught with a customer that's not gonna buy, and you don't, make any money, you kind of waste your time in a way, because of commission. But what I realized is I was not greeting every customer. I was, in a way, being more selective. I realized that I wasn't bringing out extra shoes. So if they asked for a shoe, I just bring out that one shoe. Where I realized the top salespeople have the courage to show other options, to show other things. They go above and beyond. So what I did is I started to energetically tune to the version of me that was a top sales employee. I started asking myself, what does the top selling version of Aaron think, feel, and act? How is that version of me being? And guess what I realized? It was very different than the mediocre version of Aaron, the sales version of me that was just average. Here's some of the differences. Let me show you some of the differences, because this is the difference between a completely new reality to the old reality. The top selling version of Aaron, you want to know what I realized about myself? I greeted every customer. I just used my imagination for this. And I also could model and look at the other people that were the top salespeople. They had very positive mental attitudes. They're very positive when they talk to people. And I realized, I also realized they were very much themselves. They showed their personality. So I started asking myself, how can I more so show my personality? How can would I greet selective customers I thought were gonna buy? Or do I greet every customer? So what I started doing is greeting every customer, whether I thought they would buy or not. I started showing more of my personality, because I realized that version of me had a personality that was like more fun and just having fun. Because that was who I really am. I didn't have to put on a front like, I am wearing a suit and I will help you with shoes. And then what I realized is this stupid little thing I would do. I would go above and beyond for customers. They'd ask for one shoe, I'd bring out 3 others I thought they would like, and maybe something else random, and I would show them with excitement. And then what I would do is, even after I sold them the shoe, I'd put it in the bag, I would wrap tissue in the bag over the box. And then I'd bring it around, that's what we had to do, bring it around the counter and give them the bag, because it's like better than, you're never supposed to hand the bag over the counter.
There are 3 types of souls. Some of us are earth-based souls. So an earth-based soul is a soul that was designed to incarnate and evolve in body on earth, usually hundreds, if not 1,000 or more lives on earth, growing and evolving, tripping and falling in human life. There is a soul nursery in the higher realm. Earth-based souls are prepared to come to earth before they come to earth.
What's the second?
Second one is an interplanetary soul. People can exchange that term. It could be starseed means the same, ET means the same. That's a soul that evolves somewhere other than Earth. The only reason those souls come into body on Earth is because they come from an evolved perspective. They come to help us here. Number 3 is an angelic soul. An angelic soul comes from the angelic realm. That realm of souls supports the divine. Angelic souls carry the energy of the high frequency we think of as source. That's basically a love and compassion energy. So their signature energy, their reason for coming to earth, is to aid a more acceptance, a greater peace, love, compassion perspective.
Do they generally have different human traits and personalities?
There are 7 soul archetypes. We carry a signature orientation to life, one of 7 archetypes.
Whether you're earth-based, angelic, or interplanetary, how does it affect you on this planet?
So I'll speak about interplanetary souls and I'll speak about angelics. Interplanetary souls often struggle. They just struggle with the way of life of humans, and that's not to say that there aren't humans of capability and integrity and kindness. There certainly are.
We know there are.
The value of understanding, am I earth-based? Am I interplanetary? Am I angelic? Is to understand ourselves.
When do we know what we have? When we die, or can we find out when we're still alive?
Some of my clients, before they come for regression, already either know or have a sense of, they'll say, I don't come from here. When I was a child, I was fascinated with staring out at the night sky. I was fascinated with the movement of the planets. I knew I came from somewhere out there. Other clients come for regression and they learn through the regression.
Does the soul separate from the body?
Yes.
And then where does it go? What does it do?
So when we're born, we have a fractal, a portion, a slice of the pie, if you will, of our soul. We bring a percentage of our soul energy into our body at birth. That's what causes us to live and breathe. The remainder is our higher self. The remainder is our soul in the higher realm called the higher self. When we die, that slice of our soul automatically exits the body. It's on autopilot, you might say. Many of us who've been around a loved one who's passing or has passed will feel that shift. That slice of soul returns to the higher self.
Who decides what the soul does? How it reincarnates? How it incarnates?
We always have spiritual guides. We are never without a guiding force from the higher realm.
Tell us about these guides, Linda.
So an earth-based soul, an interplanetary soul, an angelic soul always has a lead or a senior guide. That guide is a soul in the higher realm.
Is this like a guardian angel?
Yes, they assist us. Our guide never leaves us. Our guide is benevolent, not judgmental. It's not their job to be judgmental. It's their job to be supportive and guide us toward more effective behavior.
Whoever running this matrix hate natural woman. All of your favorite artists, after they go through the industry after years, they end up being like feminine and stuff, bro. They rap about fucking hoes and shit, but they carry themselves, their energy is very feminine. I go off energy. I learned human anatomy. I told all y'all niggas, you have to stop watching porn. And go 30 to 60 days without nothing. You can't, so you ain't gonna be able to see what I see. Bro, soon as a girl starts shaking her ass in front of you, you like a dog. You at your lowest state of your consciousness, bro. We all watch these cartoons, Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan levels, different levels within you. That shit is real. You got different levels of your mind that if you're a lazy person, it's a certain level within you that will make you get up and hit the gym. It ain't even a thought. If you're a person that ain't got no confidence, it's a level within you. Nigga, you will become a fucking godlike streamer or a YouTuber or a public speaker. It ain't no thought. You don't have to think. It's you. All of that is being taken away by porn. Every time you even try to stop, if you're addicted, what happened? That fucking sexual spirit bring your ass right back to it.
There's something about grief that I have not heard anybody talk about yet. And it could be because we don't want y'all to think that we're crazy, but I don't know if I care. I don't care anymore. So I'm just going to say this. If you are not the most open-minded person and you are not looking to be, this is probably a great place to exit. When my mom died, it felt like I was snatched into a new dimension. I don't say this with, I don't say this in a metaphorical sense. I say this literally, snatched into a new world. Not like a, oh, I'm gonna miss her so much, I just can't believe this. No, like it actually feels like me, like the me inside of this body was snatched out of one life and placed into another. And it's not even on some scary stuff either. I feel like my mom is alive in a different world, in a different timeline, in a different experience, in it like somewhere. And this is not like this whole thing of you're grieving so your mind is going crazy. No, I can't explain it, but she does not feel finished. The moment that she passed away, and y'all know I talk about my mom passed away at 444, and I had been seeing 444 for 4 months before she died, every single day. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know. I'm just going to speak my truth because it is what it is. But I got in the car and me and my daughter, we left. As soon as I left the hospice center, everything looked different in the world. Not it felt different without you, Ma. No, like everything looked different. The roads looked different. My car looked different. My neighborhood looked different. Everything physically, visibly to my natural eye looked different. It looked different. And here we are 8 months later and none of that has changed. The hardest part for me is the feeling that she is still my mom. She still is, but I cannot have physical access to her. I feel like I'm living a completely different life. This is not like just emotionally, no, like the world is different. And it feels like I'm in a different game.
Stop playing with people who have spiritual gifts. Stop playing with people who have a knack for intuition. Stop playing with people who have a knack for knowing, where God has employed some part of them where they see it in their dreams, they smell it, they sense it, they visualize it, they know what they know, they can hear it in your voice, they watch your body language, they ask you questions just to gauge whether it is or not you are being honest. So I'll say, and I'll reiterate again, stop playing with people who have spiritual intuition and connections, who know their body, who knows their mind, who knows what they see, and who sees you.
When you're about to shift to a higher timeline, these are some of the signs you're gonna see. You're gonna experience a tower moment, which basically means your new reality is gonna cost you your old one. You'll see people, things, relationships, circumstances falling out of your life. The universe has to make room for the new to come in. You're gonna be bombarded by angel numbers. When you look at the clock, on receipts, license plates, everywhere you go, you are going to be followed by angel numbers. These are synchronicities. You might notice that your tastes in things change, no longer craving alcohol, junk food, because you are ascending to the highest version of yourself. You're gonna notice that you're more intuitive. Your intuition is coming online to guide you. We are all psychic. You've just been programmed to suppress it. You'll pick up on other people's intentions, energies, and you will especially get intuitively guided to make decisions that make no sense, but end up leading you exactly where you need to be.